1 2 1 2. We're gonna begin soon. 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Okay, that sounds good to me. Cool. All right. Last checks. We're going to go live in a minute. How about you grab yourself a nice cup of coffee, a nice tea, maybe something fresh. It's been hot here in Bristol for the last 2 weeks. Woo! Yeah. Hence the reason why I couldn't stream last night. I'm in between places looking for AC, some freshness, because my flat is too hot to do editing. Hey, here we go. Cool. I think it's 8 o'clock. Hello. It's been a while. Glad to be here. Glad to be back. Welcome to MattGoesRogue. I'm Matt, and today we're going to talk about video games. This is what we do here on this channel. We talk about storytelling in interactive entertainment, video games, and TTRPG. And today I've prepared a little program for the next 2 hours. So we're going to talk about a lot of different things, actually. Let's have a look at the menu. We're going to talk about the SAG-AFTRA strike in the video game industries. So as you know, the strike just begun in the US, and we had the first picketed line in front of Warner Brothers only a couple of days ago. There's been some very good and positive outcome ever since, and yeah, I'm looking forward to dive a bit deeper with you into why the strikes are happening, what are the revendications, what could be the outcomes, and hopefully how the industry can move forward for the best using those kind of union movements. One of the other topics we're going to talk about today are those Chicky controllers from Xbox. In homage to Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously the release of the movie. I actually watched it yesterday. Great movie, really recommend it. There is a contest online at the moment for Xbox to win those controllers. So yeah, we'll have a closer look. Okay. We'll talk about what are the current trends in the industry right now, what games are performing the best, what people are putting on their wish lists. Maybe it's going to reflect your own wish list and what you hope to play for the next few weeks or few months. So that should be an interesting little investigation. I'll be using VG Insights once again, really cool tool. And again, thank you for the team for giving me access to the software. I'm having a really good time with it. We're going to talk about the V2 of Alien, the role-playing game by Free League. They have announced it 2 days ago. They will give a second version to the game you might have played that was released in 2020 with a new aspect, new kind of maybe streamlined rules and new components, and there is a new DLC coming up as well. So we'll have a closer look and we'll discuss what we hope maybe the game will be about, and maybe some of the rules that you might want to see adjusted or changed for this new version. We're going to talk about Exodus from Archetype Entertainment and Wizards of the Coast, their new digital IP, the new Space Odyssey, and what we can hope from that. I do have a really good trailer to show you. There is some early beta, alpha, omega tests, preview of the gameplay. Yeah, let's have a look. Let's see what they have to offer. Let's open to the possibilities and see where this takes us and what we can already kind of anticipate from the title. We're going to talk about Borderlands. Obviously, the movie is going to be released in 3 days, I believe, here in the UK. I'm really excited about it. There's some expectations that come with it, obviously. And I think this film is actually falling into a trend of game adaptation that we've seen since, I think, Jumanji, if I'm taking the leap of that IP. But there is a lot of commonality between, Jumanji, Fallout, Dungeons & Dragons, and Borderlands. And I think we're going to be on a very high-spec entertainment title here. It's a popcorn movie, big effects, big casts. Now, I don't know. We'll see. I'm a bit skeptical about it. But yeah, we'll have a chat. We'll talk about it more in detail. Okay, and then I share a little bit more with you about CineRPG, which is a community cinema that I'm currently creating in association with Cinema for All and the British Film Institute. I'm really excited to let you know that the tickets for the first event will be released early this week. So yeah, it's happening, and the first screening will be in Bristol on the 22nd of September. Here we go. So if you are in the area, if you are living on the island where I'm based at the moment, yeah, put that in your schedule. I think it's going to be a really fun day, and yeah, I'll share with you a bit more about it during the stream. Here we go. So that's us for the next couple of hours. So yeah, I'm hoping to get the stream running from that up to 10 o'clock, about 10 o'clock. As always, you can leave comments in the chat. I'm using a new bot at the moment for Twitch and YouTube, so you will have a little bit more content coming through, some cool reminders, links to the different outlets that I'm using, some little stories, some fun facts and reflections, ideas that will be popping up into that little box. I try to make it as entertaining as possible, as engaging as possible. Please give me a feedback, as always. It's very helpful for me to know what's working best for you, what do you prefer best here on MattGoesRogue, and how I can maybe adjust things or continue digging in that direction if it's something you enjoy. Yeah, let's have a bit of a heart-to-heart. Let's see. Hold on, because it's very hot here again. How you been doing? A lot of changes in the world right now. Obviously, everything is getting very political. I will try not to be in this space. I think it's good to have, environments that are free from any kind of political leanings, beyond a great sense of humanity and kingship and mutual support. Look, the world is moving very fast, for sure. Here in the UK, we had the elections. Things are a little bit shaky at the moment. I'm hoping to see things settle in the next few weeks. Whatever you hear on the news, those are real isolated incidents. It doesn't reflect, the majority of the people living here. And I just want to say that, whatever is happening is helpful in many ways, and I really hope things will ease in for the best moving forward. Yeah. I try not to be political. Sure. But yeah, moving forward, the week has been busy, obviously. Yeah, work-wise, it's very, very happening at the moment. A lot of things have been done. I'm really happy with the progression of my current projects. It's, it's really good. It's great to be helping also new people joining the industry or the creative industry on the great scale of things. And to be back on MattGoesRogue to prep the content I'm going to share with you today as well. Yeah, a lot of new projects coming up. The community cinema is taking a lot of my time too. It gives me the opportunity to connect with people, with people who are other publishers, IP owners, cinema programmers, venue owners, and try to get everything together so I can create a really cool event at the end of September. I won't be releasing the title of the film today, but it's a pretty exciting movie to share, obviously. The posters will go to print on Tuesday, and I will start advertising it. So here we go. If you want to keep an eye on CineRPG, it's on Twitter, it's on Instagram. We have a Twitch channel as well. There will be some content coming up. I'm trying to organize this with some good friends and people who are part of that sector, professionals, writers, GMs, community leaders, and so on and so forth. So I'm hoping to really create some cool content that will build up towards the event at the end of the month, and to lay the path for what the film is going to be. Yeah, so that's kind of it. That's kind of it for CineRPG, and yeah, I think next few weeks should be a little bit quieter, so I will probably be back online a little bit more often. I should be able to play a little bit more often too. What am I playing at the moment? I'm still playing some Hogwarts Legacy. I am playing some Prince of Persia. I am playing... What am I playing? Oh, what did I play the other day? I played a few things. It's like everything tends to meddle, to connect with each other. But yeah, no, it's you know, I'm trying to be as versatile as I can in my taste, try to open my mind to new genre as well. And Assassin's Creed Black Flag was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. I think a good alternative to Skull and Bones. A little bit flawed on the narrative. I think it's you know, it can be a little bit better, but it's a good game. It's fun to play, and for a PS3 game, it's pretty impressive, to be honest. So yeah, I'll push a little bit on that. I think I will dig into this a little bit more. Cool. Shall we get ready for the first topic? Shall we head for Deadpool and Wolverine? Yeah, let's do that. Cool. So, Deadpool and Wolverine was released a couple of days ago, and I had the chance to actually watch it at the cinema yesterday. I absolutely loved the film. Not only am I a huge fan of Deadpool, but I'm also a huge fan of Wolverine. So imagine my joy when those two iconic characters finally had their own movie. Needless to say, it's the first appearance of Hugh Jackman in the MCU. It's a big deal, hence the kind of revisitation of his character and the extension of Logan's legacy into the greater narrative of the X-Men. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to really encourage you to go and watch the movie and have a great time with your friends. It's super entertaining, it's super fun, and I think it's a great payoff for the people who have followed the adaptation of the Marvel comic books into films since Blade? I think that was the first. Then it was Spider-Man and all the others. Look, it's such a rewarding movie. It's so fun, and you do feel the friendship of Reynolds and Jackman throughout the screen. Not only the connection they have between the characters, but everything that has been around the release of the film, and it's such a beautiful friendship. I think it's it's amazing. I'm so glad to be witness of that. So here we go. Deadpool and Wolverine by obviously Disney, Marvel, and that will be the first Deadpool movie away from 20th Century Fox. So there's a few adjustments, but actually they've stayed very true to the IP, to the tone, to the the rogueness of Deadpool, and it's working really, really nicely. Now, jumping on that bandwagon, there was a bit of a resurgence of what is the culture of the summer blockbuster, and that's something we kind of missed to really enjoy for the last few years, maybe beyond Barbie. I don't know if you remember, but if you were a child in the 90s, which I was, every summer you had a big movie coming out, like, I don't know, maybe Jurassic Park, for example, is one of them that just come to mind. Well, everything was themed Jurassic Park. You know, when you're going to fast food restaurant, you had Jurassic Park burgers and stuff. Products were wearing like prints of dinosaurs. Your cornflakes, your cereals were packaged with the Jurassic Park IP all around, with little games in the background. Everything was so Jurassic Park themed, and that's how things used to be at the time. And it feels that we kind of lost this kind of heritage of blockbuster legacy and IP derivatives. I think Deadpool and Wolverine is probably one of the first to rebound with it. The other day I was with girlfriend and we were grabbing a couple of bottles of water. We're heading back home. We were a bit thirsty, and the bottle were printed with Wolverine and Deadpool on it. I saw a lot of different products wearing the prints, and even Heinz did a parody, a poster of them with like the ketchup and the mustard, just opposite the big billboard of the actual film. And I found this quite amusing. I think it's quite fun to embrace the film throughout everything that is, accessible and maybe marketable. Obviously, it costs a lot of money for the for the movies or for the sponsors either ways, but it's just the spirit of what is a summer movie, isn't it? And I just really like it. It brings me back a little bit. There's a bit of nostalgia here, but it's a really fun way to bring the film into your life, and I think younger audience will also really like it. So there you go, Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, obviously, when we talk about derivatives, Xbox has just released a custom Deadpool and Wolverine, there's one for Deadpool, one for Wolverine, controllers. And those controllers are a little bit cheeky for obvious reasons. They are demonstrating molding the butt of Deadpool. And I think it's really, really funny. I think there's a huge market for custom IP controllers. And the one on Deadpool is just amazing. I mean, that is so funny. And the actual butt cheeks here are a little magnet clip you can put at the back end of your controller. I think it's really funny. And it's really in character as well. It's really unapologetic. And I absolutely love that idea. I think it's really, really fun. Now, it's not the only one, because you have the Wolverine version as well. I don't know if it's mold on their butt. Maybe it is. They claim it is. I take that for face value, obviously. But no, I just found this so funny. And it does open a lot of possibilities, you know. Imagine your favorite games or big titles. They could have their own controller and their own items. Now, unfortunately, those are not, accessible in the market like this. They are part of a big contest. So if you are interested to acquire or to have a chance to own one of the Deadpool or Wolverine Chicky controller from Xbox, you can join the contest. So now, just for disclaimer, I am not affiliated to Xbox. I am not affiliated to Marvel or Disney. I'm just a player having a lot of fun with that idea and actually joining into the background of this. I've actually joined the contest. So just to prove my sincere interest here. And I was saying, hey, entering the Xbox Chicky controller sweepstake today. How could you resist? Obviously. Went to see Deadpool and Wolverine yesterday. It was so much fun. It was such a fun and entertaining film. Mentioning for Van City Reynolds and the real Hugh Jackman for the thrills and the loves. There you go. So we'll see. The end of the contest is 11th of August. So you still have time. If you want to join the contest, you can. And hopefully you will one of those. Who knows? But either way, they're going to be real collector pieces. And those ones are very special controllers. Hopefully there'll be more coming up for different IPs, different brands, and different types of games and universes. I think it's a brilliant idea. I'd like to see more of them, actually. Yeah. Here we go. Deadpool and Wolverine with Xbox for the Chicky controllers. Now, obviously, and that's something we see often, when it's such a big IP is released like this, and you already have a game on the market, the digital title, the game, will have a resurgence of interest. So I was curious to see if it was the same for Deadpool, and I found a couple of interesting facts about this game. First of all, Deadpool was really well received when it came out, with 91% of positive review, 6.5 million gross revenue, and about 250,000 units sold. This is the Steam feedback. It's mostly for PC games. And those metrics are coming from VG Insights, so you can check for yourself. Now, when I did my research, I found that the game was available for $0, which seems to indicate that the game is no longer on the market. And it's actually true. The game is no longer accessible for purchase, which made it a very seeked product. Now, what you can see here on the curve is the average consecutive player using the game or playing the game on Steam. And the little curve hop you have here was since the day of release of Deadpool and Wolverine. So more and more players who already had the game started to play again, like to expand the experience of Deadpool and to have fun with the character, etc. And that's something we're going to see throughout, like franchises like Fallout, I'm expecting Jurassic Park to be the same. I'm expecting Borderlands coming up to be the same as well. So we keep an eye on the correlation of media release versus game release, and how those consecutive players and the game activity is increasing once you have something from another media coming into the scene. It's a classic kind of curve of interest, refound interest into the game itself. So I just found it interesting, and that was obvious enough for me to be able to demonstrate it today. So we'll keep an eye on it. And from what I've found is actually the game is currently available for over £100. You might find it on eBay. That would probably be your best bet. It's going to be for PS4 mostly, and it's going to range from 142, 130, 115, yeah, something like that. So if you have Deadpool the game, keep it. It's going to be quite a valuable item. It's going to be a collector for sure. Now, it's also possible, given that level of interest, that Disney might want to maybe revisit that option, maybe create a new one, maybe upgrade the current IP. But there is definitely an interest for Deadpool games, and I think the Deadpool and Wolverine game could be really smashing. Yeah, let's hope. Let's see. I don't know. We'll find out. Here we go. Deadpool and Wolverine, July 26th, so just about less than 10 days ago. Go watch it. It's a great movie. Again, kudos to the filmmakers, kudos to Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Really fun, really entertaining, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one. Here we go. Okay, so now we're going to look at the trends, the current trends for video games, and see what's going on Steam more specifically. So I'm using VG Insights, which is a tool that the company has very kindly given me access to. I'm using an indie license for this one for the purpose of creating a little bit of content around it. I'm not sponsored, I'm not paid for it, but I have a free license. So I don't know how much of a sponsored content that is, but I have no obligation to use it. I have no agenda. I can look at any games I want, and I am not taking any kind of I would say commercial there's no commerciality beyond my beyond this kind of content, so to speak. So I'm not under any kind of commercial agreement. This is it with Vision Insight. It's just a very kind of honest assessment about what the tool is, and most importantly what it says about the current portfolio of games and stats collected from the platform, and that helps inform what games are trendy, what games are put on the wish list, and to correlate those information in a way that can be strategic if you are a video game studios or an independent developer, to see what niche are more profitable, maybe what kind of format is creating more appeal, and etc. So you have a lot of filters and correlation you can do and you can use. So for example, at the moment, top game of last week in terms of sold units, we have Once Human, which has sold about 204,000 units, followed by Apex Legend, 158k, First Descendant, is it? 130, then you have Dota 2, 118, Elden Ring, 88,000, Counter-Strike 2, 80,000, and War Thunder about 82. So those, are really big hitting games, really popular as well, and they generally have a very big. They are AAAs, right? I mean, they will be like really kind of well-developed games. Now, something that really is surprising for me is to still see Red Dead 2 in the top 10. I like that. That makes me happy. And it's so great to see that there's still such a big appeal about the games. It's been released about 5 years ago now, and it's still very strong. So that's the first overview. I mean, do you play any of those games yourself? Have you played Once Human, for example, or Apex Legend? Let me know. This is just the units sold now. There's something we can also look at. It's quite interesting. It's the you do have the wish list. I'm always interested in wish list because it does give a sense of what people want to buy, and what they are interested in, and it gives a sense of curiosity and interest about those new titles. So if you're gonna work with me, here we go. We have a huge interest in Marvel Rival. Not released yet, but huge interest. Over 296, I believe, 266, sorry. Wishlist election, that is a huge market. We have Spectre Divide. We have, I think it's Cataclysmo as well, 160k, really big as well. And then we have Make a Break, 30 Days on Ship, Caltra, and I think it's Wreckfest 2, 45,000 as well. So those are really like the top 5 games most seeked for, and 2 of them are yet to be released. So this is really interesting, and I found it gives a really good temperature to what people are into at the moment and what they hope to purchase in the near future. Now, how this wishlist is managed, I don't really know. When can people put those games on the wishlist? I don't really know. I'm curious, for example, not to see Harry Potter Quidditch Champions. I'm surprised not to see Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm surprised not to see Star Wars Outlaws. But maybe those titles are not yet registered to Steam to be part of that selection. So we'll see. If it was the case, I think they will be probably the top 5 on a kind of AAA scale. I think they will be definitely part of the top selection. Okay, so let's see, what else can we look at? Average concurrent players. The amount of games who have the highest amount of players playing at the same time. So we're gonna have possibly a lot of MMOs games here, Battlefield type of games, probably some Counter-Strikes. Yeah, there we go. So Counter-Strike 2 is leading the way with 90,000? 892,000 average daily players. Wow. That is enormous. And then you have Dota 2, that is just about half of it. And then you have Banana. That is incredible. The Banana story is just wow. That is a smart game. That is a smart move. Really, really clever concept. 223 average daily player. Really interesting. Now I got some feedback to say that those ones are free on the price point. I don't think that's true. I don't think Counter-Strike 2 is free, is it? I know Banana is, but I don't think Counter-Strike 2 is free. Okay. Elden Ring as well, still very strong here, 122,000 average player. I mean, it's an enormous amount of people. 115. Now, the one thing, okay, that is an interesting observation to make, is that it's important to understand that those demographics are kind of a little bit logged demographics. Those games are very different, although I would say that maybe Battleground is close to Counter-Strike a little bit, but those players are playing the game quite avidly, so people who play Counter-Strike might not have the time to play Banana or even an interest in Banana. They might not be the player playing GTA, still 124,000 people. So those are hard pockets of players that new games would try to deter from their favorite games. But those are the games who are taking the biggest amount of players from other platforms, from other games. So it's the kind of 80-20 ratio. I would say 20% of the games are probably taking 80% of the players. And I think we have here the lead titles in terms of engagement, in terms of also the perpetuity of players, the ongoing amount of games playing and the number of hours accumulated. If you are a new game like Concord, for example, and you hope to take away players from Counter-Strike, you would have a long way to go. Because people who play Counter-Strike would have to leave the game to play Concord. And I don't think they still have a really strong argument on why they should maybe just give up the game they've been playing for so long to join a new release. So those demographics are not incredibly transferable. That's something to keep in mind. Just a thought, right? But it's basically saying that those are really core games. They're very pivotal games, very first choice type of options for players, and any other games who are pretending or hoping to follow up that trend don't understand that they would have to bring the argument and the quality of the experience of the game to compete with those established games and communities. And I don't think you can play Counter-Strike 2 on a high level and playing Concord 2 on a high level. I don't think you have enough time in a day to do it necessarily, or the availability to do it at all. So so when it comes to pitching games, it's good to know those figures, because you can argue the points and maybe convince some investors, but it doesn't mean that those pockets of player will give up on their games to play yours. You need to really be competitive and harness the spirit of the community to start with, and that takes a lot of time and marketing resources. Cool. So that was average concurrent player. That's I would say that's pretty much it for the week on VG Insights. I really like the tool. I think it's interesting. It's interesting to explore some of your favorite titles and try to understand what happens behind the scene a little bit. And for example, GTA 5. If we just have a quick look here, can I do this here? I should be able to jump on the page, right? Maybe just because it's OBS playing tricks on me. Maybe. But you can basically go into the details of every games, how much money did the game generated, how many players, what are the average ratings, and it's very, very granular. Now, it's mostly for PC. I don't know if there is data from PlayStation, for example, or the type of console. But it gives you a bit of an idea. It's a bit of I use it to give me a little bit of temperature about the games and to see, what are the average metrics. But yeah, no, it's good. I think it's really interesting to explore that. For example, active players, 152,000 players are playing the game right now. 185 for over the last 24 hours. Gross revenue estimated $678 million. 27.1 million units sold. My God, wow. Amazing. And then obviously they will give you a little bit of demographics about the players, where they're from, etc. The ROI of the game based on quarter segmentation, historical data. This is what we saw for Deadpool earlier today. And so on and so forth, and then you can dive into what Rockstar is doing, etc. And historically, what are the games they've done, and in what kind of sector they are operating the most. So super interesting. I'm surprised not a lot of people are using this tool at the moment. But yeah, no, really, really cool stuff. I'm having a really good time using it. Cool. All right, so that was it for my little review of the week, and give you a little bit of an insight about what is going on. I was on the market. Actually, some market study here, isn't it? Does it surprises you? Are you surprised not to see certain titles? Again, we might have all the games available. It depends on how they're registered on the platform, but just an average. It's just a global temperature about game performance overall. I'm surprised I haven't seen Concord. I'm surprised I haven't seen the wish list of Star Wars Outlaws. I'm surprised I haven't seen Assassin's Creed Shadows there yet. Just to speak about the big ones. But yeah, it depends. I mean, I have no idea of how Steam is managing this part of game registration, but I'm pretty sure we'll know more about it in the next couple of weeks, for sure. Cool. So August is the month of many releases. What are you excited the most about? We have this month a new Star Wars game. It's not Outlaws, it's another game. It's Star Wars Bounty Hunter that has been released. I have the feeling it's a re-release. I looked at the trailer of Star Wars Bounty Hunter, and it felt very PS3. So I'm not sure if it's a bit of a retro game, which is quite possible, or if it's actually a new title. If it's a new title, I'm a bit surprised. If it's a retro game, I'm much happier. I like retro games, but it felt a little bit passé in the most respectful way. Now we're gonna have obviously Black Myth Wukong. I'm really excited about this one. We'll talk about it in a minute. We're gonna have a remaster as well, which is Shadows of the Damned Hela. Really cool. We have World of Goo 2. We're gonna have Cat West 3. And we have Maiden NFL 25. And obviously, we're going to have Star Wars Outlaws from Ubisoft. So yeah, I'm quite excited about it. I think it's a good month. It's not too saturated, which means it gives enough space for Star Wars Outlaws and Black Myth to land without too much competition on a AAA level. Now, obviously, it's not without challenges. Price point is going to be something to consider. Now, it's. I think Ubisoft is anticipating this by releasing Ubisoft Plus early and to release it at the price point of £1. I don't know if you can access Star Wars Outlaws for this first trial month. Maybe you can, maybe you don't. I've seen there was also a Ubisoft Classic with all the previous titles available. So I mean, it would make sense that this is what you get for £1, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is not what happens. Do due diligence as always. Yes, I am quite excited about Black Myth. I've seen a few gameplay, obviously streamers and gamers talking about it, and I found it look really good. I think it's really well designed. I think the mythical inspiration is really interesting. It's obviously based on the classic Chinese novel, which is called Journey to the West, and it's focusing on the Monkey King, Sun Wukong. From what I can say from the get-go is that it's a Souls-like game. A lot of action, sort of segments that are focusing on storytelling. The graphics are really impressive. If you like big battles with kind of like magical elements and it's kind of like almost boss arena type of game levels, I think you will like it. It's an RPG, obviously, and it's managed by Unreal Engine 5, which makes it really good in terms of obviously texture definitions, light, color reflections, and kind of general kind of movement dynamics. I think it is very optimized for the latest console. So this one could be definitely one to look into if you're looking for something a little bit different. Otherwise, obviously, Star Wars Outlaws is going to definitely take the crown this month. We do have a World of Warcraft as well, The War Within, that is landing on PC. So if you're a fan of the franchise, here we go. You have one here. And like we said before that, Star Wars Bounty Hunter. I'm not convinced about this one. It's a very low-key marketing around the game as well. I'm feeling it's a revisitation of an existing title. It looked at best mobile to me. I think it's a PS3 game. It has to be. Here we go. So which one are you going to take? Star Wars Bounty Hunter? Are you going to go for Black Myth Wukong? Are you going to go for Star Wars Outlaws, the new World of Warcraft game, The War Within? Or are you going to go for something like Cat Quest 3? Are you a cat? It's hard to say. Are you a Cat Quest player? And if yes, please tell me what Cat Quest is. I am curious. I haven't read much about it. I haven't heard much about it. So, if you want to defend your game, please let me know. No, talk to me in the chat. I can see you. I see if you're here or not. I can tell. Let me know. There we go. That is for August. September, we're gonna have Quidditch Champion. We're gonna have a few more things. Actually, let me take you to the pre-order page of MattGoesRogue. Here we go. I've anticipated your needs, your gaming needs. So there's a new page on the website. It's called Shop with Matt. So MattGoesRogue.com/shop-with-Matt, M-A-T-T. And on that page, I will share with you some cool links pointing towards some good stuff, including game passes, including pre-order games, gaming accessories, headsets, streaming gear, and so on and so forth. Of course, those are affiliate links. Of course, I'm an Amazon affiliate, and every qualifying purchase will give me a little commission, a little something at no extra cost to you. And that will help the channel, actually. Every earnings will be brought back to the channel to help develop new content, maybe hire an editor at some point to help me out, or somebody to do thumbnails, or maybe to bring more people into the stream, or to simply optimize everything we do. So, if you are ever considering buying any of those games in the future, remember to use one of those links. So, Star Wars Outlaw Limited Edition exclusive to Amazon. Okay, so PS5 and Xbox Series X. That's the links here. Then Assassin's Creed Shadows Limited Edition, again, PS5, Xbox Series X. Harry Potter Quidditch Champion Deluxe Edition, that will come out in September the 4th. PS4, PS5, Xbox Series S, X and S, and Nintendo Switch as well. Planet Zoo Console Edition. I was looking forward to this one for a long time. PS5 and Xbox Series X. You're gonna have Call of Duty Black Ops 6, PS5, PS4, Xbox X and Xbox One, the remastered version of Tomb Raider 1, 2, 3, PS5, PS4 and Switch, Astrobot, PS5 only, Mario and Luigi Brothership, new game on Nintendo Switch, and then you're going to have an interesting and intriguing game called Empire of the Ants, which is based on the adaptation of a novel by French writer Bernard Werber. Here we go, where you're going to play an ant part of a ant colony. And that will be for PS5 and Xbox Series X. So if any of the above is taking your fancy and you're considering buying any of those as a pre-order, please let me know. Please use some of those links. Again, it's not going to cost you anything, and I'm going to get a little commission from Amazon for that purchase. So thank you very much for considering this option. You have also access to Xbox Game Passes, PlayStation gift cards, Nintendo eShop cards. It's all there. MattGoesRogue.com/shop-with-Matt. And you have much more stuff going down. You have plenty of options. Gear, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and so on and so forth. I'm sure you'll find something interesting. I even put some snacks. Hold on. No, hold on. USB keys, films as well. Dune, Bad Boys, Civil War, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Snacks. Maltesers, Lindor, Quality Street Chocolates. Come on. That should do it, right? I mean, surely. Here we go. Eat healthy, though. Eat healthy. Not too much, with moderation, like everything else. Here we go. So you can use those links if you are of interest. I'm just joking. There's no obligation, obviously. But that would help if you're considering, shopping on Amazon, or if you're an Amazon, customer. Here we go. It's all here for you. You know where to find those. I'll let you use them to your leisure if you want to. Again, no obligations. Thank you. Here we go. Okie dokie. Good. We've done this. Now, what shall we focus on? Let's take a little bit of a sip. I'm getting quite hot. cool. I'm starting to relax a little bit during the streams, by the way. I had the pressure going down from the first one. I think finding a way to be authentic, although, you know, engaging, you know, for everything we do and all the content we put out there and our connection, basically. There's also a lot of value about just being aligned with your own vibe, with your own energy, and owning your voice and your space online. And, you know, using those kind of stream platforms to do it is a very good way to do it. I'm aware there's an aspect of the stream that will be edited for the short topics of the YouTube channel, so this is where I tend to push a little bit more the energy and the delivery. But there is also something I just wanted to relax here. I just want to have a good chat with you, and I just want to just to be really who I am, basically, and not having too much pressure, not being too self-conscious, just vibing my own way, so to speak. Cool. What shall we do now? So we've done that. Okay, you aware of this? Cool. Thank you in advance. Again, no obligation. There we go. Let's have a look at Borderlands. So, Borderlands will be released in a few days. So I was wondering, you know, hey, shall we have a look at the trailer and have a little bit of a chat about it? You might have played the game, or you might be new to the franchise like me. I've never played Borderlands, but I seen the trailer, the teaser actually, a few weeks back, and I was really impressed. I'm like, wow, this is an amazing casting, and it looks so colorful and crazy and fun. And so I keep that in mind. And the film is going to be released soon. So looking at the trailer, I have a few thoughts, and I think we are looking at a new genre of films that are mostly adapted from games, either video games or tabletop games, that are following the same trend. And I'm getting from Borderlands a vibe somewhere between Suicide Squad meets Fallout meets Jumanji. That must be the Kevin Hart effect here. But also Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Amongst Thieves. And I think there's a space in the box office for this kind of big popcorn blockbuster that are just fun, you know, inconsequential, blowing up stuff everywhere, putting all the money on the screen and having good fun. Now, they still have to make the world accessible for the people who don't know the lore. They still have to acknowledge the player who do know the lore and lean into the fandom by Easter eggs and cameos and characters that people played, which is completely the case here for the leads. And at the same time, I'm a little bit on the fence about how good that is in terms of storytelling. How good of a film it is on the base of, you know, the cinematic experience. It looks beautiful. There's a lot of money, etc. It's no problem. But I don't really know how it differs from a basic fetch quest with MacGuffins and quirky characters and unapologetic jokes, and a bit of a crossover between Mad Max, Fallout, and Dungeons and Dragons. And that's cool. You know, I think there's space, you know, for those films to be there. They will be like big commercial success because they are mostly supported by a lot of money for the marketing aspect of their distribution strategy. But I'm not 100% sure it's gonna be a great film. I am a big fan of Eli Roth, the director, but I'm also a little bit surprised because this is not really his area of expertise. A big action fantasy film is not really what he does initially, but that's fine. I mean, we can transit and explore different format, genre, and types, obviously. But yeah, I'm a little bit surprised of the directorial choice behind it. It doesn't mean it's going to be a bad movie in any ways, but I would have. I don't know. Let's wait and see. I would be delighted to be wrong about everything I'm assuming about the film right now, but it feels like a big Vault Hunt, which is pretty much what the Borderlands is about, isn't it? But it's nothing really original. I see a lot of tropes on screen right now, and I don't know. I think maybe the most original thing is maybe to bring into screen. Maybe it is. It's a great casting. Sure, it looks really good. The art direction is fine. Two kind of, I don't know, wee jokes in the trailer is probably a little bit much. I don't know. Is it better as a series? I think I'll lean into it a lot better if it was a series than a feature film. Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. Let's wait and see. I mean, the cast is definitely a big hook, and yeah, let's find out. Let me know if you would see Borderlands in the cinema upon release. If you're gonna wait a little bit, wait to it streamers, or if you're just not interested because this is not your thing at all, which is also okay. Yeah, let's find out. I think Kate Blanchett looks amazing. Kevin Hart is a great actor. Jack Black, I'm a big fan. Shame is just the voice of the character. I wish he was there in person. Maybe he's gonna make a cameo somewhere. I'm not Jamie Lee Curtis, obviously. What a cult actress. You know, it's really appealing to see those people into that world. And maybe that's the thing, right? Maybe it's banking on the popularity of these actors to bring a new audience to the movie and to the franchise. Maybe that's the angle. I'm not sure. Let's wait and see. I wish the film all the best and all the success it deserves, and I will keep a close eye on Borderlands, the movie coming up. Now, if you are not familiar with Borderlands, like I wasn't so versed about it before preparing that little segment. I obviously heard about it for the last few years and know people who played it, but I haven't played myself, so I don't have a first player experience with it. However, I know a little bit about the studios who has developed it, and I think Telltale is a very good, very smart, very qualitative, high qualitative studios. So I'm quite keen to find out more about Borderlands as an IP and what it has to offer. Obviously, the website will lean heavily right now on the release of the feature film, but there's a lot of offers happening. You can, have a bit of a package when you kind of all the games you previously either played or heard of in the same kind of bundle, which is the Pandora box. You can tell the Telltale look here. It's the studios which developed The Walking Dead, The Walking Dead, the game. I think this is the episodic Walking Dead game. Yeah, that's it. I'm curious to find more about it. Maybe you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna jump in and play and see and find for myself. It looks very fun. It looks very anarchist. It looks somewhere between Mad Max and Fallout. And I think there was a trend at the time of this kind of post-apocalyptic world and kind of RPG game. That was very popular, and we've seen the emergence of Fallout also at that time. 2K, which is the big studio behind it, and Telltale. Probably for the writing, I would say Telltale. And they are part of Take-Two Interactive Software. Take-Two is also, if I'm not mistaken, the studio behind Rockstar, and they are currently being struck as a studio. Okay, well, it doesn't mean that it's going to impact them directly for the release of current games. GTA 6 is apparently safe and operating under a specific agreement, so that should impact the date of release, but I don't know for the others. No idea. But let's find out. Borderlands, from the producer of Uncharted, Spider-Man, and Venom. Here as well, beyond Spider-Man, I don't know which Spider-Man they're talking about here, but Uncharted and Venom, very, very niche action films. Uncharted, obviously, had a bit of a complicated distribution and success. Venom, very niche as well. I think it's a bit of a Marmite IP. You either love it or you really don't. So I have the feeling Borderlands might fall into that kind of intersection of being so specific, so niche, that it's gonna call and talk to maybe, with regard to the global population, probably a minority of people, probably very much so the people who have played the game or people who have an interest in playing the game. Deadpool has just been released, so they will be competing with Deadpool. It's a big movie. Now there's still a lot of chances, you know, as an alternative. People who like maybe Suicide Squad, the movie, might really enjoy Borderlands. Actually, the old kind of like multicolor saturated thing like this is a little bit like this, a little bit Bird of Prey as well, where in this kind of really acidic pop, you know, world, in terms of poster design. But yeah, I really like the look of the characters. I think it looks very colorful and fun. Unapologetic, most probably. Adult humor, definitely. Yeah, let's find out. Let's see what it's gonna do. And yeah, again, all the best to Borderlands, and let's see in a few weeks' time what the box office will have decided. And again, great casting. And yeah, let's find out. Now, there's something we can do though. We can look a little bit closer to the performance metrics of the last 3 Borderlands. And I'm quite interested to do that because I remember Borderlands 2. This is the one that struck to my mind when it was released the most. You had a Borderlands 3, you had a Borderlands pre-sequel, and variety of other titles who had, to my appreciation, a lesser commercial success than the other. And it tends to confirm itself a little bit. This assumption seems to acknowledge that Borderlands 2 was maybe a superior game, most popular, and caught the interest and passion of players a little bit better than others. So this is the game comparison daily estimate of units sold. So we can go for maybe, let's have a look at the maybe last year. Let's give it a year. Now, obviously, those will be released a lot longer. I mean, the lifetime is a lot longer than this. We do have a clear spike here. This is interesting. Probably maybe a re-release or some kind of commercial operation, or like maybe discount happen here. But overall, 2 and 3 are selling pretty much the same, isn't it? We're not very far of each other. Let's see what people think of the 2. Let's see what people think about those. Okay. Well, that's a clear cut. So Borderlands 2 had better reviews and more reviews than Borderlands 2 and 3. Now, in terms of positive review, though, do we have any? Okay, ratings. Yeah, again, I mean, it's pretty damn good. I mean, 81 or 80 or 85. It's really excellent, right? It's really qualitative. But 94 is a strong median for Borderlands 2. So it would be fair to say that Borderlands 2 sold a little bit more, I think, than Borderlands 3. Borderlands, the pre-sequel wasn't so successful on the sale in comparison. Better appreciation, a higher rating, a higher level of review for Borderlands 2 than Borderlands 3. And yeah, in that respect, I think we can say this is a clear winner. Let's say for the maximum average, let's say average concurrent players, how many people are playing. So a little bit more interests. Interesting, okay. We have a little bit more interest in Borderlands 3 than Borderlands 2. Is it because it's more recent? I don't know. Let's say last month. Yeah, it's head to toes, isn't it? It's very close. But overall, it feels like average daily concurrent player is giving Borderlands 3 the win. We're very close, right? We're very close. But one thing is sore is like, this is not really happening, right? It's a lot less performing than the other title by a landslide. Cool. I don't know, have you played Borderlands 2 or 3 or the pre-sequel? I haven't. I'm just exploring the franchise right now and try to know more about it. But if you have, share your views. You know, which of the 3 games do you prefer and why? I'd like to know why, and maybe that will convince me to dig a little bit deeper. Cool, so that was a little bit of metrics about Borderlands 2, again, using VG Insights, really cool little tool that you can explore as well. If you are interested about game performance and the game industry, this is a really good way to start creating a bit of an informed appreciation of what is happening in terms of performance using the Steam platform. Cool, how are you doing? How's your Sunday evening? All right, so this is the little segment of the stream when I'm reaching out to you and I'm saying, well, if you like what you're seeing, maybe give this video a like or subscribe to the channel. That will go a very long way, and I mean it sincerely. MattGoesRogue is just starting. Okay, this is still very much beta testing for me. I'm still trying to find my ways between Twitch, between YouTube, what I can do, what kind of content I can bring to you, how to package this properly, how to echo those videos on the website by giving some extra thoughts and additional information about the game I'm playing or the subjects I'm covering. And I'm really keen to hear what you have to say. You know, what is your feedback? Is there anything you would like to see more of, less of, new topics, new formats? Please let me know. If you want to help the channel, you don't have to donate to it. You can just give it a like. That will help somebody else to maybe discover this piece of content and maybe get this person to subscribe, and so their friends will do the same maybe in the future, or, you know, the snowball effect will start to operate. Momentum start to be created a little bit like this. Again, I'm very new, although I've been streaming since 2020. I think it's really over the last 6 months that the idea of this channel has been growing in my mind and taking also from, inspiration from a lot of YouTubers and content creators that I really look up to. And I'm going to actually name them because I think it's really fair to do that. Some of them, my inspiration at the moments are Call Me Kevin. I just find the guy is absolutely hilarious, and I can't start to unpack what he's doing, and I don't assume I will ever be able to do what he's doing, but I'm having such a great time with this channel. Have a look, Call Me Kevin, brilliant stuff. Luke Stevens, obviously, really articulated, smart character. I really like his format, I really like his podcast, I really like his short formats. I really like how professional it comes across. I really like his even-handed, analysis, and the way he interacts with people during his live stream as well. So I'm learning a lot from him, and again, I'm looking forward to the next stream because, I'm listening to his stuff every day, and I'm having a great time doing so. So thanks, and well done, Luke. Obviously, by association, Droptor, British streamer, really sharp analysis about the game industry, really passionate character as well. I really like the vibe of his channel, and his Twitter is really active as well. There's a lot of very interesting information going there. So, Droptor, definitely have a look now. I'll put the link to the channel obviously in the description. And the last one I've recently discovered was Pirate Software. Again, really interesting character. Programmer, former hacker, game designer. I really like his format. I really like what he's passionate about. I really like the way he talks about what he's caring for. Very authentic character, and I hope my voice can be a little bit aligned to that too. If I had to take one thing from each of them, I would say the good vibe and the positivity of Kevin, the thoroughness and industry passion of Luke and Raptor, and maybe a form of, I don't know, it's just a matter of pace with Pirate Software as well. I just like his timing, I like his rhythm, and the way he comes across as a person. Does it make sense? Yeah, maybe. Okay, that's my take on that. But yeah, you can really feel there is a timing for long form streams versus short edited format, and I'm looking forward to linking into the longest form and then edit for the shortest one. But to have something really ongoing and something where you, the audience, can really feel at home, you know, that you can really enjoy as part of your day. And for me, just to be able to go behind my computer, do my research, and press stream and be here and connect with you. That would be amazing. So I'm hoping this is where we're gonna go with MattGoesRogue over the next year. I'm gonna give myself a year, maybe a little bit more, to put everything in place. It's one thing after another. It's a little increment after another. For example, one of the things you can maybe see right now. I have set up I wonder if it's gonna work. Yeah, okay. So I've set up an entire bot for Twitch and YouTube. So today is a bit quiet, just you and me, just you and me. But if you were to use the chat, then you would have little facts, little reflection, you would have little maybe breadcrumb of my life just popping sometimes into the chat, or there will be some more interaction coming up, and I've tried to develop all the commands to get that chat box really animated and really outgoing, so that can be a good experience for you too. And you have on one side the delivery of the chat on the video, but you have other things happening in the chat as well. So there are two complementary experiences, but this is kind of what I've done. This one, it was to set this up and to give it a shot. So for example, the burst chat I just commanded in the chat was, for example, okay, Matt fact. I dubbed the voice of Two-Face Harvey for the live show Batman Live Arena. It was a lot of fun. That was one of my favorite dubbing job. Little things like that. You do obviously have the classic command for title. That should work as well. Yeah, that's the title of the thing. So you do have an entire set of commands you can use. And that should be available here. Now, I have no idea what's... Yeah, okay. We're a little bit late on the YouTube. But YouTube has the same too. So those two chat boxes will work the same way, pretty much systematically, and then you would have automatically timers that would release certain information at certain moment of the stream, which can be helpful, just as a reminder to subscribe, for example, where are the links of MattGoesRogue, the website, what are the socials, and so on and so forth. So everything will be there for you in the chat. Just tap the exclamation mark commands, and you have all the list of commands you can use if you want to access a specific piece of information. There we go, that was my little piece to camera, my midpoint, and I think we're really good on time, actually. Nice. Excellent. All right, let's carry on. So, as you're probably aware, the video game industry is on strike. The American Union, SAG-AFTRA, has called for the strikes on the 26th of July. That was about less than 10 days ago. With regard to the failed negotiation with big game studios, with regard to the use of AI as part of their workflow and the pipeline, and what it means for performers, and what are their revendication with regard to the protection of actors, movement performers, stunts, and so on and so forth. So SAG-AFTRA is a really big union, and they were at the origin of the entertainment strike from last year that has frozen the entire film and TV industry, and started to discuss not only the payment of writers' remittance for big streamer series, but also raised some first concerns about AI and the illegal use of AI using the likeness of actors and actresses the voice digitalization as well, and the copy of the performances. So it's a really big thing. It's very industry focused, but it might affect a lot of things. And the more negotiation there will be, the longer the negotiation will be, the more disruptive it can be, not only for the studios and their release schedule, but also for actors and the supply chain of those big studios that will be on hold. I've posted a little stream on Instagram and Twitter last week on the matter where I went a little bit more in depth to compare this strike with the one of the entertainment industry and what are the risks. I would say overall, if you're part of the video game industry, please anticipate some disruption, please anticipate some loss of work opportunity or a form of instability towards new projects. Please anticipate anticipate some work to come from some other side of outside of the industry anyway, just in case this lasts longer than expected. The strike for TV and film and streamers was, I believe, about 7 months, and unfortunately that put a lot of people in very dire life situation. A lot of people left the industry as a result of this. So let's hope it's going to be managed promptly. There are some good progress that I will share with you in a minute, but we never know. So take every possible caution, so your livelihood is not affected too much by what is going on. So with regard to revendication, I've posted an article on MattGoesRogue, the website, just to explore what was the key messages of the union and what they are fighting for, and I try to create a comprehensive summary of those revendications. So I'm going to just read them to you to have an idea about what this is all about, and maybe how you can help, and how you can maybe support the efforts of the union. So the first of all is that the strike have started in the game industry because of the failing of long-winded negotiations. So it's not coming out of the blue. The SAG-AFTRA has tried to resolve that problem and put in place provision to protect actors from abusive use of AI for a while now. And it feels like the studios have been a little bit non-responsive, evasive, or try not to address the problem. Ironically, what happened last year should have given them sufficient warning and time to take provisions, but apparently it's not the case. So they decided to start the strikes and to take, action and to freeze, the industry, to put pressure against the big studios as a result of failed negotiation. Now, the main emphasis is to develop a comprehensive protection against AI exploitation of performance. What happens is, if you're cast as an actor to work on a game, your voice will be recorded, your face might be recorded, your body movement might be used for 3D mesh, you might be scanned entirely for the game, and more often than not, you don't know really what happens to the data related to your performance and how your recordings, the photography, the video capture, the mocap is managed in terms of data protection, or if this could be maybe reused without your consent, maybe how this can become assets that can transit from one project to another, or can even be sold as a part of bundles, for example, for other studios. It's hard to tell, and it's really not a new contract. There is very little protection for that matter. So SAG-AFTRA really wants the contracts to be clear about what is captured, how it's managed, and to make sure that every contract is unique. So if your likeness, your voice, your body movement, and the quality of the performance has to be reused for any other context, that first of all, there is a clear sense of consent from you as a performer to agree on this, but also a buyout fee. So you are earning a form of remuneration for your work, or simply the ability to say no. Again, it comes back to consent, but to have a form of trackability about where this is going and how even GDPR is applying to this kind of situation. So we need a comprehensive protection against AI abuse or the use of abusive exploitation for performance. Now there are 3 areas that needs protection: voice, face, and body. A character can have 3 different performers for those 3 different areas. One can be the face, one can be the voice, and the other one can be the body. So they all need their own protection. You have a massive, 2 massive issues with regard to AI. Is obviously the protection against generative AI that we touched on briefly, and synthetic performance. And I think we're going to start leaning towards deepfake, and we will see in a minute. There's some progress there, but actresses, actors, I've seen their likeness, their voice, their look, their face used in completely different contexts that they would likely not to approve of or not be consensual for their likeness to be used for. We talk about adult entertainment, we talk about humor, maybe sometimes, although maybe that falls into fair use, we'll see. But there's been like a lot of gross stuff happening. So I think they are a little bit tired of it. We had the entire thing with OpenAI and Scarlett Johansson's voice being used without a consent as well. It's ongoing. It's very much unfolding as we speak. So in this situation, she should be able to say no, and she said no in the first place, but I think there's a lawsuit in the making against OpenAI for abusive use of Scarlett Johansson's voice, and yeah, that will fall into one of the things. When you talk about generative AI, you can also have your likeness used into different situations. Talking about Midjourney, for example, is one of the things. You might also have performance style that could be very significant to an actor that can be emulated for maybe 3D characters or captured or reproduced with AI that shouldn't be allowed or that should be used without consent. This is one of those topics that needs a little bit more clarification, but that are concerning enough to be addressed and regulated. Now, obviously, it doesn't only touch on to actors and lead actors, it touches also on stunts and movement performers that are taking part of the creation of the world and the creation of the characters. If Troy Baker, for example, is working on The Last of Us, he needs a stunt double to do a certain stunt. Well, it's still the character of Joel in the game, right? So the stunt double should be compensated in the same way that Troy Baker has been compensated for his work on that day. There's obviously ratio, there's obviously different tarification, and everything is very much matrixed based on the union salary card and rate cards. But stunts and movement performance have the tendency to be a little bit underappreciated whilst they are, making a significant contribution to the game. So I think they need to be a little bit uplifted. Issues with consent, compensation, transparency, we just discussed that. The use of AI in the industry may be unknown and raising concerns. So we don't really know when AI is used in the game industry and to what level. Then when I'm talking about AI, I'm not talking about the intelligence behind the game, so how NPCs are triggered, when you enter in an arena or stuff like that. It's truly about performance. It's truly about the way they will be speaking, for example. It's the voice, the performance behind the unanimated NPC. And we don't really know when and where it's operating. There's no trackability. Is there other aspects of the games that are AI generated, that are using data sets that are not subject to clear consent? It's also possible. There's a lot of things happening in the AI business. I've heard about generative AI for game assets, for obviously the entire procedural creation can be managed by AI entirely nowadays. So there's a lot of gray areas that needs to be identify, but here we're talking about performance, voice, body, and face. So yeah, that's something to look for. Comprehensive strikes against companies not agreeing to protections with specific exemptions. So the main concern I've heard from the community is to know if GTA 6 will be affected. Apparently, it will not be affected simply because there are sufficient provision in place from a previous agreement. But Take-Two is, as a studio, under greater scrutiny and is on the strike, I believe. So there might be some other impact at different level operating, maybe not to GTA directly, but maybe to other aspects of maybe Rockstar. I don't know, we'll see. But it's going to trickle down in some effects for sure. And Warner Brothers was one of the first actually to be picketed. Warner Brothers, you think about Portkey, you think about Harry Potter. Quidditch Champions being just released next month. Is it going to be an issue? Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. All that to say that the 160,000 SAG-AFTRA members have been called to strike, and that will be actors, voice actors, body, stunts, double. It's going to be people working in mocap, in voice recording. It's going to be across the board of performance. Now, this would have an effect for the game industry, possibly for other aspects of the creative sector as well, not only in the US, but also in other countries. Here in the UK, we have a lot of branches from Ubisoft, EA's, we have Rockstar, and that means that, like the film and TV industry, if the US sector, the US industry is frozen, then it does impact us also down the line because we are part of the supply chain of talent and expertise, and that can make things very dicey for us. And that would be maybe one point of concern I have when I'm hearing about strikes, regardless of, the legitimate position of unions and the work they're doing on a kind of contractual level in terms of labor protection, and I'm 100% behind this. It's the impact of negotiation and the weight of negotiation and how people can afford to wait for this to be agreed and locked contractually. And unfortunately, I've seen and heard so many stories about people giving up during the 2023 strikes that, is affecting the industry in many ways. Many of people will not return to the industry because they consider it to be too volatile and unstable. And that's a shame. And it's unfortunately where we are. I wish unions were taking a little bit more disposition to talk about, calendar a little bit ahead of time, how national unions can be also supportive of any kind of ripple effects that, countries will have or local territories will have as part of the US strikes. I'm looking forward to see what Equity in the UK will have to say on the matter, and we'll be able to support actors who might not be able to work or do mock-up sessions or voice recording as a direct effect of it, and what financial provision they are to help those people if the industry is stopped for a few months. We'll see. It's never easy. It's definitely necessary, though, and I think what SAG-AFTRA is doing is going to inform a lot of other industry. In fact, they will be likely to give the lead on how AI will be managed moving forward. Generative AI, I'm talking here, of course. Here we go. So this is, just let me rewind. Okay, so obviously there's a lot of press, and it's a subject that is widely covered. I would say if you're interested in the matter, go to reliable sources, go to industry outlets that will give you a little bit more than just the Twitter version of what is going on. It's a very interesting conversation to have. It's definitely something that is of our time, and that is very much unfolding as we speak. So keep an eye on this. We have not heard the last of it for sure, and hopefully the industry will change for the best here. This is the picket line at Warner Brothers Studios. We can see here, and again, a lot of people coming, striking, defending their jobs, defending their, their expertise, defending also the status as performers, and a little bit of legitimacy to be paid for every job done and not being abused by a more capitalistic approach to the creative sector, which is what we're addressing here with the use of AI. Now, there's been a first step forward, which is going to be called the No Fakes Act. And it's going to be a bit of law that will be processed in the US with the ambition to forbid the use of fake AI-generated imagery without the consent of the person depicted in the picture or the person whose voice is used or body performance is used. So right away we'll think about deepfakes, we'll talk about all the way it's been used so far on the internet and in ways that can be outrageous and frankly unethical. I think there is a really good step forward here, and I think it's going to inform a lot of things moving forward. So the No Fakes Act is under consideration. Keep an eye on it. I think it's going to change a lot of things, and it's going to be the first legal measure that will regulate generative AI globally. So yeah, keep an eye on this one. It's going to be a first of its kind, and yeah, I'm curious to find out what's going to come out of it. Here we go. So obviously you can visit the SAG-AFTRA website to hear more about the strikes, who is affected, how it's unfolding, what is next, and all the achievement the union will put in place and fight for over the next weeks, possibly months. So as always, take initiatives, protect your livelihood in these disruptive times, and yeah, let's hope the video game industry will be better for it. The film and TV would take the same way, because they do operate in the film and TV industry. So I would assume similar contract regulation will apply for film and TV performances, and look at the impact those strikes will have in other sectors. I think it's going to be really interesting, very insightful, and I think it's going to be a first time that generative AI will be somewhat addressed and enforced with regard to limitation, consent, and transparency. Amazing. Should we talk about Exodus? Have you heard about Exodus? Well, it appears that Archetype Entertainment has released in GameCon this year the first trailer of their new, sci-fi role-playing game, open world, titled Exodus. Now, I came to discover Exodus a little bit by chance, and the one thing that really caught my attention is the fact that Matthew McConaughey was attached to the project and was like, okay, what are we looking at? What is going on? So I looked into it, and I was a little bit surprised, for good and for lesser good reasons. A little bit like Keanu Reeves was attached to Cyberpunk 2077, Matthew McConaughey is here attached to a sci-fi game that is borrowing some elements of Interstellar. And I think that's the angle here, is to work on the genre icons and to drag people in to the world by a little bit, banking somehow on the popularity of Interstellar from what we know it. And Matthew McConaughey is an incredible actor. He's a great inspiration to me. It's absolutely no criticism on the man or the performance. I'm just saying that from a perspective of IP development and game development, it becomes a practice to now use actors that are somewhat attached to the genre to lead the audience towards an attractive alternative of that particular niche, so to speak. Now, when I'm looking at Exodus, I am looking at a very promising storyline, something really emotional, really rooted into characters, and somewhat a bit of a MacGuffin kicking point about retrieving an artifact, finding a lost ship into a crevasse, those kind of strange beings that seems to be oppressing population, and those space colonialists. I don't know, it's kind of vague to know exactly who those people are at this stage. But basically, we're humans in space at a time in the future. exploring the world and trying to possibly address a form of oppression of sorts, or limit the spreading of a greater threat that is signified by what they call, I believe, the Eternals? Something of the kind, those guys here. So now, one of the things that I find interesting, right, is that Archetype Entertainment is a branch, I believe, of Wizards of the Coast. And this particular branch is focused on developing a very large open-world RPG sci-fi title called Exodus. A little bit in the way that Baldur's Gate 3 was developed, and knowing that Wizards of the Coast is behind this project is promising. You can imagine that it's a new IP that will be complementary to Dungeons and Dragons, to Magic the Gathering, and having this big sci-fi opera of sorts could be a good option for the IP Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro. So, a couple of things that I find interesting, and some other things that I find a little bit vague at this point. We clearly have an emphasis on storytelling. The gameplay, not much. I mean, what I've seen is very bare bones. It's more than it's a very big alpha version of what the gameplay can be. It's very rough at this stage. I find the environment and the first images I've seen were very bare bones Unreal 5 engine. We don't have an idea of scale, and now, based on what we've seen with Starfield, I hope they will not overpromise about the infinite options of the open world, because they will set themselves into the trap of having to work with procedural maps that are not really cohesive of storytelling and narrative, unless, of course, the game is somewhat chaptered by key narrative nodes and kernel elements that are forwarding the story that we are initially promised. I hope there is a little bit of restriction, not to make it too small, but too big is never too good, because it will thinner the focus, energy, and resources available from the studio, and the player experience is going to be somewhat unsatisfying, because, well, you know, there's so much you can do if you're going to create an infinite amount of hours of games. You're going to end up with a lot of repetitive elements, a lot of pattern and motifs that will just make your experience very redundant and very cyclic and not very enticing. So I'm hoping the open world aspect is somewhat controlled, is somewhat restricted to enhance and optimize the player's experience and the narrative element that they seem to be leaning really heavily on. I mean, this is all we know so far. We do have little videos released every so often about some little crumbs of lore. Who are those people? What they're doing? You know, the kind of use of technology or the use of the colony behind it. It's still very vague, though. It's nothing really kind of, you know, you can't really relate daily, or you can't really anchor a real opinion from now. But I hope it's not going to be at the cost of a complete blank canvas of procedural planets. It's always the danger. The problem with this is that you can't reproduce currently a culture by using sets of motifs and patterns and algorithmic creation. It just makes no sense. It's boring, and it's not indicative of any coherent narrative, because the narrative needs to embed those elements and make sense of it. But if they are just generated from the void almost, then it means that you don't really actually care about the narrative in the first place. You just want to elongate the gaming hours of your players and maybe even kind of sell them more stuff. So we will see. I'm saying also a disparity of modelization quality between the lead characters and those kind of other characters. The style is a lot different. Obviously, it's still rough, all right? It's still early days, so it's not gonna be looking like this at the end, obviously. But I found it's quality control needs to be a little bit assessed to make sure that this is consistent and it does somewhat make sense. I do understand the appeal to create alienation in a space odyssey because it's space and you can't relate to anything on the culture and the beings, but I still need to somehow have a sense of relatedness somewhere so I can care to play the game. If it's not that, then I won't be able to do it. I know there's the relationship between the key character Tom and this woman who is clearly somebody he loves and cares for, and the romance behind it, but I also need to make sense of the world around him, otherwise I can't really, project myself playing hundreds of hours now. Now, there's something I'm a little bit concerned in terms of transmedia. I'm going to call this transmedia. It's a little bit of the colonialist rhetoric that the game is advocating at this point. And some of the video I've seen that are calling early adopters to become founders. Now, I do have a red flag that is sticking out. It sounds a little bit cultish to me. It sounds a little bit pyramid scheme to me, and it sounds very colonialist to me. And I don't think we need this in the world right now so much as changing the rhetoric in the way that can be a little bit more positive. And I think Tomb Raider is doing this at the moment. When you look at the TTRPG version of Tomb Raider that is about to be released, the notion of Tomb Raider is no longer in use. They are called truth seekers, and they are less robbers of tomb, more than explorers and finders of mysteries. I know you might think it's just a matter of rhetoric and verbology, and that's fine, but I think this sounds off to me. I don't like it. I don't think it's positive, and it does create a form of logic that is, okay, you're going to be a founder of something bigger, you might be part of a colony. There's something, I don't know, it just doesn't fit right to me. So I'm not a big fan in the way the studio is advocating about it. And I understand they're trying to create an experience, right? And to create a form of belongingness with the new players or the early adapters, to bring them in early and you're going to be part of something special, etc. Fine. But it feels like they're trying too hard. We don't need this. We don't need this. I don't think we do need this. Okay. Become a founder. Join us as a founder. Opt-in early, December 7th, 2024. Blah blah blah. All founders will receive the Founder Exodus Aegis spacesuits. Okay. Your Aegis suit carries the founder's patch, identifying you as an early founder. Okay, so they work on the matter of status. It's classic for early adopters. Being an Exodus founder means that you are the first to know about Exodus news, events, and more. Now, a reward has been added: the Traveler's Stars emblem, inspired by Matthew McConaughey. What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean? Did he draw the star? Did Matthew McConaughey... How? Why? How? A new reward has been the Traveler's Stars emblem inspired by Matthew McConaughey. Okay, I don't know how that makes sense. Okay. The Traveler's Stars is an emblem at the center of the founder's Aegis suit belt, a tribute to the brave hero exploring distant stars whilst leading humanity's fight for salvation. Okay. Boom. Oh, is it the star emblem? Is it because, like, I don't know. Okay, I don't compute that very well. Okay. So become a founder, so then you can join the mailing list and get all the stuff and access to, I guess, news early and new trailers, etc. You can refer a friend as well. Bring your friend into that adventure. You can refer 3 or more friends. All you earn in the game, friends travel cloak. Okay. Refer 3 or more friends with your referral link. All of you will receive the friend traveler's cloak. Click the refer friend button in your welcome email and then your friend must join us, capital, using your personal funds link by December the 7th. And that's the reward, you have a cloak. Okay. Okay, well. First impression. I think it's ambitious. I think it has a place in the market. I hope it's going to do better than Starfield. I hope they will harness the storytelling at the heart of the gaming experience rather than the extended level of procedural exploration that not a lot of people cares about. And I hope they will adjust a little bit the rhetoric around the kind of community experience. I understand why they're doing it. It might work for Star Trek, but they are Star Trek and they've been here for like donkey's years. If you're a newcomer in that area, I think there's a little bit of humility maybe to have just to bring people in. The founder thing is not working for me at all. I'm not buying this, and I'm actually concerned about it. And I hope they will ease off a little bit on this, because it's a little bit it doesn't gel very well with me. Here we go. It becomes castic, and I don't think it's a good idea. But hey, we'll see. Feel free to disagree. This is just my first opinion from what I can assess the game at this point in time. So things will change, obviously. Things will improve, hopefully. And we will know a little bit more about Exodus in the next few months. Obviously, Wizards of the Coast have done an incredible job with D&D for 50 years. Magic the Gathering, the involvement in Baldur's Gate 3 has been tremendous. And this game has been such an incredible success that, if the ambition a sci-fi opera game, space opera game, there's a lot of things to be excited about, and I really am excited about it. And maybe it's too early to know. I don't think the involvement of Matthew McConaughey is completely commercial at this point, and they try to reproduce Cyberpunk 2070 with Keanu Reeves. I do understand why they're doing it. I think it's fun to a certain extent. Okay. Okay. I love the guy. I mean, I truly admire the actor and his body of work. I just don't think they need to do this. And I think if the game is good, it will speak for itself. And I'm more than happy to be wrong on my appreciation of the community aspects. But I'm not a big fan of that angle. Yep. Let's find out what will happen next for Exodus, and whilst we stay in space, let's look at our good friends at Free League. This week, Free League has released an announcement. They have announced that Alien, the role-playing game, will have a second version. Indeed, the 2020 Any Gold winner is going to be revised. Its rules will be a little bit readjusted, and we will have the opportunity to enjoy a brand new DLC of sorts, a new cinematic adventure, where we will be able to also apparently play with minis, and I'm really excited about it. So let's have a quick look at the announcement here. I'm a big fan of Free League. They are my number one publisher of TTRPG of choice with Wizards of the Coast. I think that for me they are really out there, and I've been a fan of the work and the games for a long time, especially the adaptation of the 20th Century Studios. We're talking about Alien, obviously, but they also did Blade Runner recently, and they have been doing a smashing job. Alien, the role-playing game, was released in 2020. Andrew Gasca was at the pen of the game with a lot of other very talented writer. I'm thinking about Matthew Intelligence. I'm thinking about Dave Simark as well. I had a great interview with them actually a few years back. And actually, I'll put the video somewhere. Like there. And I'm really intrigued about this V2 and why they are V2 in the first place, what it's going to bring to the player, and what we can hope for. So we're going to go through this a little bit together. For 5 glorious years, Friedrich Publishing and 20th Century Studios, previously 20th Century Fox, have explored the ultimate reaches of the Alien universe. In celebration of the critically acclaimed Alien RPG 5th anniversary in 2024, Friedrich proudly announced their plan to unleash a second edition of the multiple award-winning game rules across an extensive new line of rulebooks, starter sets, cinematics, and accessories. The Stress Fest begins with bug hunts, aplenty through an epic Kickstarter launching this fall. So, what we're going to hope for? So, a Kickstarter, this is the kind of commercial strategy of Friedrich. They know that a lot of TTRPG players are using Kickstarter, and they kind of pre-purchase the book by donating towards the making of the product, and they're doing this very well. They are seeing a double-digit amount of successful campaigns, one of which I think Blade Runner was the most successful, with 1.3 million pounds of collected donation, or like kind of collaborative investment. The Walking Dead RPG, I think, reached about 500k, and I think Alien RPG was one of the first to reach 500k as well for the publisher. So that will be the same model where you will be able to pledge for the products, and based on the amount of pledges and amount of contributors, you will have more perks unlocked, and you will be able to enjoy a more complete experience of the game that you are purchasing somehow. So, based on the feedback of thousands of players over 5 years of adventure, the second edition of the core rulebook delivers an updated and streamlined version of the Alien RPG fans know and love, along with the additional new artwork, new content, and a variety of new tools for players and game modders alike, fully compatible with previous releases and game materials. So, that's something we can do. I don't know if it's going to be retro compatible, but it feels like we can use some elements for that new version, but I'm not sure we can use elements of this new version to the previous one. A little bit like D&D 5e 2024. It's still a little bit in the air to know if it's possible. We'll see. The new second starter set will be redesigned as the perfect starting point for newcomers to role-playing in the Alien universe, containing everything they need for game night, including an abridged second rule, character sheets, custom dice, reference cards, various handouts, and an unexpected second edition of the favorite Last Day scenario set on Adler's Hope just prior to the unforgettable events of Alien. So they're kind of repackaging everything with, basically it feels like they're going to do a remake of the starter kit with the second edition. Okay, they're going to change the rules, they're going to send some of the game assets, they're going to revisit the original scenario and kind of relaunch that starter kit with the updates that they want to put into the game, generally speaking. Now, I think there's maybe a little bit of a missed opportunity not to look at the different scenarios. Ops Last Day is good. It's appealing to the fan of Aliens, but it's been so done so many times that I think the lore is big enough to open to new things. And Hadley's Hope is it's so recurrent. It's a little bit overused for my liking. It's a little bit like, I don't know, I'm not gonna make friends tonight. But when you look at Dune, Arrakis is Arrakis, right? It holds a very important place in the lore of Dune, but there is so much more in the Emporium too. And sure, it has its relevance for the spice and the economy and everything around it, the political strategy. But there's also this pitfall of just limiting the Dune experience to Arrakis that makes it a little bit stale at some point, or unimaginative or uncreative. And I'm hoping it would have been great if we started somewhere else, right? The frontier is a very large place in space for Alien to happen. We don't have to come back to that barren moon again and give it another shot. I think it's so seen. It's pretty much in every video games of Aliens you're going to play as well. It's a little bit too much of a motif now. It's not even a location. It's becoming a motif for the lore. And well, okay. I wish there was a little bit more than just a Deadool for that starter kit. But it can be the Nostromo. That's fine. You can put this into a ship. It's okay. If anything, that could make it a bit more interesting even. I don't know. Okay, so the new cinematic scenario box set, Rapture Protocol. That's now I'm interested. Now you got Mantention, written by Jonathan Hick and Felix Thomas Arnstam, obviously the CEO of Fredig. Returns to the roots of the Alien franchise, featuring the new crew of a small staff freighter on a resupply run of the remote industrial colony, soon embroiled in a deadly conflict. That's what should be in the starter kits. That should be the scenario of the starter kit. If you keep people in a kind of semi-confined environment, right, so they can play and test the world, then you can bring them to Headless Loop when things are a bit more spreaded and you have different levels and stuff like that. I think starting small is always better to find your limits and find what you can and can't do, and then you can expand to wider and bigger environment. I wish that was the starting scenario of the second edition. And the miniature sets is designed to bring the event of Rapture Protocol to life, but fully complement other adventures and skirmish battle throughout the Alien RPG series. So this is if you're going to work with maps. I don't think a lot of people will be working with the vehicle maps really in the game. I think initially there was, or maybe it's going to be revised, I think there was a little issue with scale on the 1-inch grid to do this properly. From what I remember, the Foundry VTT version is pretty good. I think it solved that problem because you have a bit more flexibility on how the grid can operate. But printed map were either too big or not big enough to be able to be used with tokens. Again, this is a few years back, but that's the memory I have of it. Yeah, great. I'm all for minis. Yeah, more minis, please. More minis, and maybe we can end up having a little bit like that for Mutant Year Zero. Maybe a little bit more of a battlefield, maybe environment that can help. Maybe boost some of the stations, or maybe bring a little bit of a tactical battlefield into the game. Why not? Why not? All right, sign up today and get notified when the Kickstarter will be available, and so on and so forth. And you have a little trailer here showing some artwork. It's, like they do. Actually, let me play. Can I play it? I don't know if I'm gonna be rerouted somewhere or no. It's gonna work out. It's a test. Okay, let's see. Oh, bear with me. I'm gonna have to work this out early. Oof. This is my. Oh yeah. No. Yep. That's better. Oh, might be able to make it. Is it going to work out? Do you think it's going to work out? Okay, here you have it. A bit of a first view of the creatures and how the game will feel. I mean, I love the artwork. I think it's really cool, and yeah, best of luck to V2. I will definitely be looking at it, and yeah, looking forward to see what Fredig will bring. You know, it's It's exciting, and bear with me, try to escape this. Okay, no, okay. One of the things that is interesting, just to finish on Alien V2, is it's going to be the first time Frederick is doing a second edition on their 20th Century Studios catalog. So my assumption is that the hype for the first one was really strong. I think they find the demographics, they kind of know what kind of players they can rely on. Bear with me, I do have a little bit of a background noise here. Bear with me, apologies. Okay. Live streaming. So, like I said, it's the first time Frederick will have a second edition on their 20th Century Studios portfolio. I think they know what kind of demographic they can play with or they can sell this product to. I think the people who work the first edition will be very curious to see what are the new rules, how they can improve the gameplay. They will probably, be part of that, pool of buyers and supporters on Kickstarter. I think new generation will be likely to be jumping in the game from the back end of Alien Romulus that is about to be released. So it's obviously strategic, right? They kind of clearly aware about the schedule of releases. The same announcement kind of came around the end of The Walking Dead for the release of the Walking Dead RPG. So they're working in close proximities from production companies and right owners to see what is the best windows to advertise those opportunities. It's normal. However, I think the success of the Kickstarter will depend on a few factors, and I don't think the hype factor is going to be really high, really, for the second edition. I think in terms of return on the Kickstarter, if I have a prediction to make, they'll make somewhere between 350k and 750k. High figure 750, low figure 350. Otherwise, it would be a tremendous amount of money for a game or a TTRPG, and it's I think it worth every penny of it. Frederick is a fantastic editor and publisher, but I think it might perform a little bit under the first one. We'll see. It's completely speculative at this point, but I'd be interested to see how it's going to happen in September and how it's going to be received and what is included into the second edition and all the perks you can get from that. Their offers are really complete. The crafting is beautiful. The artwork is amazing. Those are really, really high quality products, and it's very well written as well. I would say one of the things that I'm the most struggling with when it comes to Frederick is the aspect of storytelling that is missing a little bit in the GM toolkit. And whilst everything is promoted to be a cinematic experience, I don't think the game structure facilitates this very well or very much. We are mostly talking about a sandbox environment, or if you have a scenario, you do have a fate scenario, but it's not really built as an acted film. And maybe that's a false expectations to have. Maybe a TTRPG doesn't run like a film or shouldn't run like a film. Maybe those are two different forms. But I think there is a few things that can help GMs to understand story arc, understand suspense and build up, understand that it's just more than exploring the world and fighting those beasts and etc. There's a real sense of narrative to put into place, and I'm sometimes I struggle to find this into the rule books I'm getting that are inspired by films, and what I'm getting from Frederick. Although you do have scenarios, it's not always to that extent of narrative granularity, and I think they could definitely afford to be more specific, and that will really help the gaming experience to understand characters' core motivation, hidden motivation, understand act A, Act 1 and Act 2A, Act 2B, understanding where we're going, what is the real resolution, and you know, formatting things in the way that does echo a little bit more some aspect of the film narrative structure. Again, this is just my personal appreciation. Again, I love Frelig. I'm a big fan of their work, and I think they are definitely one of the best publishers out there, and I will continue to be a customer of them. And I do have a good connection with them. So yeah, let's see what V2 is going to bring, and let's see who will be, writing it too. I'm interested to see if Andrew Gaska will come back, if Matthew Terrence and Dave Simark will be also penning the book, in which case we might just bring them back into the channel and have another chat. That'd be fun. All right, so this is CineRPG. This is CineRPG, and CineRPG is going to release its first tickets this week. I'm waiting to know exactly when. I'm hoping tomorrow, if not Tuesday. It's an initiative I'm passionate about. It's an initiative I've been fighting for since last March. I've created this community cinema in collaboration with Cinema for All and the British Film Institute to blend the cinematic experience with TTRPG. So that does make sense with my last topic, isn't it? And I've been very lucky to have a launch grant to set up my first event. So this event will be set in Bristol on the 22nd of September. And we'll watch a film that I won't disclose today, just wait a couple of more days to the maximum. But we'll have a screening of a film with a fairly limited crowd of people. We're going to start small, but we're going to start on strong basis of passion and interest nonetheless. And those audience members will have the chance to trial the TTRPG version of that film. Maybe for the first time, if they are first-time players, or maybe to expand the knowledge of it if they have played before. And I will bring a series of game masters to accompany them and to teach them the rules for an afternoon. This event will be pay what you can. It's really focused on some kind of social action. The screening room will be in a place where not a lot of screen activities happening in the city. So most of the cinemas have closed in the south area of the city. So this is where we're going to screen the movie and have the event. And I'm hoping to not only continue doing those kind of events, maybe every month or every 2 months, but to get other cities to host CineRPG as well, so we can tour with that initiative, this community cinema, from one city to another, and have a revolving programming in place that can lead us to meet amazing people, organize maybe actual play campaigns that can be hosted in different parts of the country, and inspire new film lovers and new gamers to connect together. Initially, the idea was born from a bit of an observation I've made about Bristol for the last few years. We've lost a lot of cinemas in the city. That's very sad to observe. We lost a huge merch shop that was kind of the hub of pop culture for many. The increase of rent and the cost of living crisis has made things very difficult for communities to be able to pay the rent of their local, the kind of facility. And we also had a cuts in the arts funding that brought a lot of artistic and cultural initiative to shut down. So when given the opportunity to apply for the launch grant of Cinema for All, I wanted to address some of these issues with a solution that I could afford to facilitate and develop. And so was born CineRPG. Here we go. So our ambition is to have local screenings close to communities that don't have necessarily access to screening experiences or game experiences around them, and also to make tickets affordability, to ensure ticket affordability with a pay what you can ticket price point, and get sponsors, maybe publishers and other members of the industry to help sustain those events and help offset some of the cost. Maybe we'll have some commercial screenings and event that will help funnel some money towards the community screening. It's a bit early to say, but yeah, it's definitely happening. 22nd of September will be the first screening ever of CineRPG, and I'm really excited to share more about it in the next days. So connect on the Discord. The YouTube channel will be CineRPG official, I believe. Same for the social media. You can join our newsletter. So every week or so, I'm sending updates about what is going on, how the project is evolving, what is the next step, etc. We do have a coffee as well page if you want to help and donate. It's there as well. And I will keep you posted about the next chapter of CineRPG very soon. Keep an eye on my social as well. I will be talking about it quite a bit. And yeah, I'm looking forward to share that with the world. It's been 7 months in the making. It's not a lot, but it's at the same time it's a lot when you try to figure out. It's the first time I'm conducting and creating a community cinema, so it's been quite a bit of a sustained effort so far, and I can't wait to share that with people. I can't wait to make them feel part of it, and for people to be involved, to see how CineRPG can meet its audience, and that's the most important. Okay, I think we've reached the end of our session today. Look at that, 10:05. It works. 2 hours worth of chit chat. Hope you enjoyed today's session. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you are curious about the next games that will be released. Are you going to watch Borderlands at the cinema? Will you be playing Exodus? Are you excited about the V2 of Alien RPG? Please continue to observe the SAG-AFTRA strikes. That's a very important movement in the creative sector. So keep a close eye on this one. Will you get your hands on those Deadpool and Wolverine Chicky controllers? I love them. I think it's a great idea. I'm really keen on the collector/marketing aspect of it. I think it's so on character. I think it's brilliant. Well done Xbox for doing this, and I'm eager to see other films and brands and games having their own custom controllers. I don't know why we stopped doing this. They're brilliant. I mean, think about Hogwarts Legacy, right? You could have your own, house painted on your controller with some kind of like details in the back and some cool depiction on the button. I don't know. There's so much stuff to do. I'm sure people will buy this kind of stuff. Although they are expensive. The Deadpool and Wolverine, I think they are. If they had a retail price, I think they'll be around $250, maybe $300. I think that's the price I've seen online. So yeah, good luck to the lucky one. Join the sweepstake. And let me know if you are a lucky winner. You have to send me a picture, okay? That's the deal. All right, I think that's it for me today. Thank you again for joining MattGoesRogue. I will see you next time, possibly next week if I'm lucky, if it's possible. And I will be editing some of the segments of the topics we'll discuss today for the channel, just the standard channel of MattGoesRogue. So you can just get the little increment of that bigger conversation. Thank you again for joining today. I wish you all a lovely evening, a great week ahead, and as always, happy gaming. Bye-bye.